Thank you all. And Brenda and I are going to take just a couple of minutes for wrap-up. There's a couple of housekeeping details. There are evaluation forms, I guess, out on the table where you picked up your name badge. And we would certainly appreciate feedback if you can take a minute on that. I would also mention that there will be a workshop summary that comes out. You saw some of the ones out on the table. Hopefully you've taken some of those. But they'll also be electronically available, and so will all of the sessions today be posted on the Academy's website. So you can direct people who maybe weren't able to attend virtually or in person today if they're interested. I think I made sort of a couple of my concluding statements at the mic, but I do think what today has been about is all about what is good care of people in this country. And I do think the expertise from the palliative community is elevating that we all should be looking at that and how do we integrate that, whether it's into our profession or into our team or into our practice setting. So that was a theme for me that came through strongly today. And then I'm going to let Brynn make a couple of comments, and then we're done for the day.
Standing between you and being released. But I want to just recap the key themes from the day. I was writing down notes about the calls to action that I heard as our panel spoke. And I think the first is that we really need to integrate palliative care education into standard clinical education in all its forms. And that's a call to action both to the national organizations that set curriculum requirements and to the teaching institutions that implement those requirements. That is also an opportunity to attract people to our specialty, and we don't want to overlook that aspect. We need to really pay attention to the health and resilience and the care that we take to our specialty teams, who don't always feel supported in that work. And we need to continually make the case that training in palliative care skills for practicing mid-career clinicians and other specialties is good for patients, is good for clinicians, and is good for the organizations that employ them. We particularly, thinking about Session 3, need to acknowledge the giant role that the home health workforce plays in this entire equation and the real chasm of need when we think about supporting that workforce. And so I think throughout the day we heard, while payment was not a major focus area for today, and that was what we said at the top of the agenda, it was inescapable. So as we pursue some of these long levers of change in payment and continue to work towards value-based care, which will support the work of these interprofessional teams that we've been describing, I hope that what everybody took away from Session 4 is that there are also things that we can do today, having to do with training, having to do with use of technology, and what I really took away from Sister Peter's talk, which is treating culture change like an intervention. Those are things that we can do today in parallel with those longer conversations around payment and policy. So I would encourage everybody to think about what role you each play in your various organizations on moving this agenda forward. So thank you for being here today. We really appreciate all of you who came in person, and especially those on the webcast. Tougher when you're not in person, and enjoy your evenings.